What's up, guys? Dane Davis here. Shout out to Boogie Bentley, Dauber, and the Indie Kid over at Talkin VAWLS Network on YouTube. Vols fans, head over to their YouTube channel, Talkin VAWLS Network. Smash that like button and subscribe, baby. Go Big Orange.
I mean, obviously, nobody likes losing, and you have to hate losing so much that you do what it takes to not lose again. Obviously, there's no will or intent in anybody's heart to lose, but what actions are you going to do? What mindset change is going to happen so that you do not allow that to happen again? So I think that that's the mindset that we all have going into this week and weeks coming.
Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley.
I'm Dauber.
And I'm the Indie Kid.
We got those bye week blues, man. When it's a bye week, it seems like everything just kind of slows down. Everybody moves on. They find something else to do. I suspect numbers will be a little bit down tonight. Help us out. Go ahead and smash that thumbs up right out of the gate. Hit that little thumbs up below the video. We would appreciate it. Share out the link. Blast it out on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Go to MySpace. See what Tom's doing. Let him know that we're live. It'd be great. Dude, did you guys know that MySpace apparently made a comeback recently? Like people were going. I heard it on a live stream I was listening to on YouTube. Apparently, people were going back, reactivating their accounts, setting their top 8, putting their jams on there. I would love to know, number one, my password. I don't even know what my username is, but go back to MySpace and see what my song is and who's in my top 8. Be awesome. Be awesome. Anyway, that's a random start to the night, but let's.
I had not heard that actually.
I hadn't either. I heard it on a live stream and I was like, is this real? Like, is this real deal? Let's jump into the live chat. Let's see who is hanging out. Oreo Puppy Dog in the house says, go Big Orange. Country Black is here, says, you guys should do a World Series live podcast. Go Braves. Spoiler alert. That's why we're here at 7 instead of 8. We're going to get out of here, give everybody time to go catch up on the World Series. Probably made a stupid decision. We're going to go head to head with VolQuest and Jason Swain at the same time. Why not? Why not? We're about 250 subscribers away from passing VolQuest. So let's go Tuesday Night Wars. Let's go head to head. Let's blow this thing up. Why not? We'll make a Tuesday Night War t-shirt coming out soon. Man, I'm firing on all cylinders tonight. Kenny Jones in the house. What's up, Kenny? UT Punkin in the house says, let's go Braves. TK81. What's up, my friend? My favorite person in the chat. My favorite person in the chat now, Balls fan for life, aka Knoxville Pedophiles, is in the house. Says, looks like we got a win for sure this week, boys. John W. Bell the fourth in the house. What's up, John? Hope you're doing well. Hope Trinity is doing well. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Says, just saying what is up to my Vols family. John, we appreciate you being here, buddy. We appreciate anytime we have fans, friends, family of players. We're glad to have you in the house. Nate Pruitt for 5. Thank you for the super chat. What's up, guys? Today is my birthday. Spending part of the night with y'all. LOL. Well, first, happy birthday, Nate. Is that an insult, any kid? It says I'm spending it with you guys, and he just kind of chuckles as he
sounds like he's saying, man, my life's pathetic.
That's the way I see it too. What's up, Tejon? Glad to see you in the house. Hadn't seen you in a minute on a live stream. Southern Life. Let's put our foot on VolQuest's throat. Nah, I love VolQuest, man. You guys know that. Love Austin Price. Love Brent Hubbs. Love what those guys do. But wanted to get out of here early so everybody can go take in the World Series. It's a bye week. Like I said, it's the bye week blues. So Indy Kid, you got any, you said in, I think it was the day after video, we're taking the weekend off. We're taking Saturday off. You got any plans for the bye week? Anything fun going on?
Yeah, they're doing a Gothic prom down here in Augusta somewhere. So we're going to take in the Gothic prom. And so I think that's the plan, because I know UT's got an exhibition game for basketball Saturday. And I was like, maybe I could do something for that. Now I'm like, nah, I remember we had that. But Halloween weekend, let's enjoy it. Bye week. World Series. I got a big week. Got World Series this week, and then, of course, you guys I know I coach football. We got a big one. It's win or go home tomorrow night. If we win, we're playing for the championship next Wednesday. If we get beat tomorrow night, we're done. So it's a blood boiling type of week this week.
Dakota Dyer says Gothic Prom 2021's been wild, man.
Yeah.
And just a heads up, guys, for next week, because of what's going on with Indy Kid, I've got some stuff going on, but we're trying to balance, wait and see what he's got going on with football. So just stay tuned. The live stream, it could be either really late Tuesday or it could be a Wednesday night stream. Tune in. Plus basketball getting fired up. These guys will be covering that. So just make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you click that bell for notifications and also follow us on social media. You can see that scrolling across the bottom. We'll always tweet out and let you know what time we're going live. What about you, Dobrin? Anything fun going on, or are you going to be on the softball field as usual?
No softball this weekend. Actually heading to Asheville, going to see Billy Strings on Friday. Coming back, got a Halloween party thing Saturday night with the kids and a bunch of people. Everybody's doing a Harry Potter character, so that'll be interesting. Then I guess take the kids out Sunday evening. So,
are y'all doing Sunday evening trick or treating too?
Yeah.
Okay, they're doing it down here. I just assume everybody would do Saturday, but
I've seen people on Facebook saying that they don't know when trick or treating is in our town, but whatever. I don't know.
Hey, just go both nights. Go both nights.
Go all weekend.
Just show up with a pillowcase, hit the door, and say
give me
trick
some
or treat.
candy.
You'll get some candy. I love this. Josh Sparkman taking my daughter on a UT campus tour Saturday. Dude, one of the best things ever was Dauber hooking us up with a tour of Neyland. And I'm sure, Josh, you're probably talking about a campus tour of college, all that good stuff. But, man, Dauber hooked us up with a tour of Neyland with a friend. And I didn't want to do it. We were going on a golf trip, and it was kind of pushing things back. I was like, ended up being like, man, like memorable. Like, I will never forget that. Good times. I always try to share those pictures every now and then. John Hill for $20. Thank you for that super chat. John says, let's kick some cattail next weekend. Let's go Braves. And please, oh, please, Lord, let us beat the Dogs in a few. If they beat Georgia,
man,
I may give away 750 T-shirts right here on Talkin VAWLS Live. That would make my year. I got some fun stuff going on this weekend. Hopefully, Dauber saying he's going over to Asheville. That used to be where we used to love to go there. And Indy Kid, I know you're a big Asheville fan.
Oh, man, love it.
Anymore, man, like Boone, North Carolina is our town. And if you've ever seen Boone in the fall, there's nothing like it. And Louisiana Monroe plays Appy State on Saturday, so we got tickets for that. I'm excited, man.
Awesome.
I'm excited to go check out that. If you've ever seen that stadium in the fall, like it's breathtaking. So chance of rain, youngest daughter's sick. Cards are stacked against me, but we'll see how it plays out. Hopefully we can get over there and take it in. If not, we'll eat $150 worth of football tickets. But that's the plan. Let's jump in. Let's talk a little football. I'm going to kick things off with a fan question right out of the Facebook group. We got some good questions today, and I really don't want to sit here and talk about Alabama. I really don't want to talk about it. It's the bye week. You know, we're a week away from the Kentucky game, so let's jump into some questions. This is a good one. This is one of those joint Facebook accounts. So it's Sarah Beth, Matthew William, Griffith Sharp. How long do you think it will take before we can have the type of depth we need at all positions? I like this question because, you know, we talk about the transfer portal and what this team is going to have to do and how Josh Heupel's kind of behind the eight ball on this class of 22. So, Indy Kid, what do you think? How long do you think it takes Josh Heupel until he has the depth? Instead of us saying, hey, it was a 7-point game, then they got blown out, or Tennessee was in it in the first half, then it got away from them. What's the time frame in your mind?
Minimum of 2 more years. I think they're going to hit the portal hard this year, but I don't know if they're still going to have the depth they need because they're going to lose some important players from this year's class. I really think the next 2 years, portal heavy. Of course, you're building through your signing class as well, but 2 years and possibly longer. I mean, I see some saying 3. That is possible. That is possible. The main thing with Josh Heupel, keeps making progress, keep building that roster, and we got ourselves a coach that's going to be here for a bit.
Let me share this. Go ahead, Dauber. While I share this up, go ahead.
I agree. Two at minimum, possibly three. Like you said, next year is going to have to be portal heavy. There's too many guys that we've already missed out on. I think, and you've brought it up before. I think you go all in on Walter Nolan. You try to get that kid, and then maybe one or two others, but then you try to plug holes with portal guys and portal guys in the spots that we're going to need. Offensive, defensive line, linebacker, maybe even wide receiver. Looking forward into next year because we're going to lose a couple guys that have been big time contributors in Jones and Javonte Payton.
Yeah.
So that's what I see going into next year. But he could find some guys that are on his radar that aren't on anybody else's that fit his system. And, you get a 3-star or a lower 4-star that just, fits so well that they ball out and play better than a 5-star would just because of the way they fit. So, but I don't look for it's hard to have anybody come in as a true freshman and be immediate impact. That is such a, bullseye, nail on the head rarity for somebody to come right out of high school and to play in the SEC and really, be an impact player. So I look for a lot of the needs to be filled in the portal. But I think you give him another cycle after next year, maybe even one more, to get guys that fit the system. Look what he's doing right now with guys that he didn't necessarily recruit. I know we talked about it before. This is kind of the situation like Bruce Pearl got when he took over in basketball. A bunch of guys just kind of worked with what Josh Heupel wants to do. So I think that's part of the reason they're having success with the high tempo on offense. And, there are playmakers on this team. So it's the lack of depth and a few key spots that is the big difference right now. And then again, there have been games where we've shot ourselves in the foot with mistakes and penalties and all that. So
I agree with what you guys are saying, and just I want to go ahead and put this out there. Tuesday Night War update. VolQuest, Jason Swain combined 86 viewers. Right now we're at 106. We are winning the Tuesday Night War. Thanks to you guys. Share it out. Hit that thumbs up. Let somebody know we're live. We're taking over the game. YouTube is our home. We are about to dominate. It's all jokes. It's all fun and games. I hope you guys understand that. But I agree with what you guys are saying, talking about Javonte Payton, something that Swain, as I make my jokes, I listen to Swain every day because I love his coverage. He made a good point today saying, you can go get another Javonte Payton easily. Easily. They can go get him. Like you guys said, transfer portal is going to be big. I see some people over there, JJ Banks, saying this recruiting class is going to be rough. And it is. It is. I think that the class of 23, the class of 24, Tennessee has a huge chance to pull some good recruits in those classes. But let me share this up. And this is why I'm excited. This is why I'm excited, because I think the class of 22 is going to be rough, and they are going to have to go to the portal. But when you pull up next year's schedule, this is a very generous schedule. This is a schedule that sets Tennessee up. Look, this year, what did we say? 6 wins. Let's go get 6 wins. Now we are sitting here looking at 6 to 7 wins. We're looking at a bowl game, extra practices. Wayne Starn says, sorry, Swain, Talkin VAWLS rules. O'Doyle rules. Let them know, Wayne. But when you look at the schedule, Tennessee can almost afford to struggle in the class of 22, because I think when you look at this, it sets up well for Tennessee. I like going on the road to take on Pitt next year, who is going to be without their quarterback. That's going to be huge for that game. But when I look at this schedule, look at LSU. Yeah, you got to go on the road to play LSU. That's tough. It's a tough game, but you're talking about a new coaching staff, new schemes. You don't know what that team's going to look at. When you look at this schedule, Tennessee can play with every single team on this schedule. Alabama, Georgia, probably your 2 losses. Outside of that, Tennessee can win every single game. Yes, Florida's going to be tough. Yes, LSU on the road is going to be tough. But you can afford to be behind the 8 ball a little bit in this class of 22, because if you do a good job in the transfer portal, somebody also was asking, let me just throw it in here right now. And I'll struggle with this. Victor Lockwood in the Facebook group says, do y'all know which contributing seniors are eligible to return next season as super seniors? He says, I know Cade won't be back. I think Bayless, Jones, and Peyton out of eligibility, but who might be able to help us out next season? He says, in parentheses, Alante Taylor, for instance, ? And I struggle with this, man. And so any kid, maybe you can help me out. I don't know who qualifies and who doesn't at this point. I know that Hendon Hooker can come back, but that's what you're going to have to rely on. Super seniors, transfer portal. That's it. That's what you're going to have to do. But I think the schedule sets up well next week.
Peyton and Bayless Jones are super seniors. None of your linemen are. But like I said, Cade Mays, he's probably gone. But Carvin and Calvert can both come back next year. You're losing Matthew Butler, Bumpus, Blakely, Solomon. They're all super seniors. Alante Taylor can come back. He's not a super senior. He's never redshirted. So, I mean, I wonder if that means he's got 1 or 2 years that he could use. But he may be gone. I think Trayvon Flowers can come back. Basically, your whole secondary can come back. Linebackers can come back. Where they'll go, Caleb Tremblay, he come in. He is a super senior.
Yep.
So where you're losing the most is defensive line. But they are starting to develop some guys there as well. Losing Cade Mays is going to be big. Hooker's back. Princeton Fant, I believe, is a super senior. So there's room at tight end for help. And then, of course, we've mentioned it numerous times, Bayless and Peyton. So, you can go. The good thing about the portal is you can go get somebody who next year will be a super senior. You can go get someone who's got just a couple years of experience right now. There's all different needs you can hit in that portal, kind of like they did this year. But, I agree with what you said, Swain said about receiver. Peyton's done some good things for him. But, man, receivers, there's a lot of athletes. There's a lot of ballers that play receiver. I think you could bring in some guys there. I really think offensive line, they could withstand to get 2 to 3 good guys out of the portal, whether they will be super seniors, whether it's guys with a couple years. And defensive line, that's the main 2 places. And I still would not hesitate if there's an alpha at linebacker. I just don't think that linebacker I mean, they've improved. They're better than what I expected them to be, but, it is what it is. They're still – I don't know that it's high-caliber SEC quality linebacker. I'm not taking anything away from those guys. They're playing their butts off, but I still think you could upgrade that position. And I would think Hooker will be back. But in the event that he's not, I do not hesitate if the right guy's in the portal who has proven something, not another Joe Milton who's all hype. Somebody who's proven something, I would not hesitate to bring him in. If it's a Spencer Rattler or whomever.
That's the one that keeps getting thrown out there. I would not take Rattler. He seems like he's got too many mental issues, too many problems. They're going to have to go get somebody at quarterback because all signs indicate Harrison Bailey's gone. It looks like he wants to redshirt, and I can't remember if it was Austin Price or Brent Hubbs, one or the other said in the Monday night chat on VolQuest, basically they expect him to leave. And then, talking about Joe Milton, you can't imagine Joe Milton's going to stay with the success that Hendon Hooker's had, and you got to expect that Hendon Hooker's coming back. Like, he reminds me of a Josh Dobbs type. What's he going to do in the NFL? And I'm not taking away from the kid. He could have success in the NFL. I don't know. He needs an extra year. Do you agree, Dauber?
Oh, absolutely. I think we talked about this last week. Just imagine what one more year in this system, what one more year being coached by Heupel, developing further, taking first team snaps in the offseason in camp. That's only going to make him that much better.
Let me get caught up on these super chats real quick. Let me scroll back up here. Stephen Moore for 5. Thank you, Stephen, for the super chat. We appreciate it. Says, what do you guys think about our next 4 games? I'm hoping for 3-1. Let me hit the rest of these super chats. We'll come back to that, Stephen. Thank you for the super chat. Jake for 5. Thank you, sir, for that. 9-3 is very achievable next season. I agree. I think that schedule sets up nicely. And again, you're going to go in with less talent, but it's an opportunity for Josh Heupel to continue to prove himself and build momentum throughout the class of 23, the class of 24. Blueberry J 24 for 2. Thanks, sir. For years, all you heard is Vols' toughest schedule in the NCAA. Well, it doesn't help when you play Alabama every single year. And look at the schedule this year. Look at the schedule. How many times does it fall? Like, you get Ole Miss in the year that they just so happen to have a Heisman Trophy candidate. You just so happen to get Pitt when they have a Heisman Trophy candidate. It seems to happen all the time. We saw it with Oklahoma. There are so many examples. They're skipping my mind right now, but there's so many different examples where teams come in, they get scheduled, and they have Heisman Trophy candidates when they happen to fall on Tennessee's schedule. So it's nice to see a schedule next year that looks pretty good. Am I caught up there? Let me see. Yeah, I'm caught up on super chats. Let's go back to this one from Stephen Moore for 5. What do you guys think about our next 4 games? I'm hoping for 3-1. That's something we got to look at. We look at it every single week. What do you guys think? Is anybody hoping for 3-1? How do you guys feel about that Kentucky game? Because that's the one. I think everybody feels pretty confident in South Alabama and in Vanderbilt. ETSU, go Bucks, took it to Vanderbilt. So Tennessee has no business losing that game. Any kid, how do you feel about Kentucky? Tennessee's got a week to get healthy. What do you think?
3-1.
Confident?
I'm not even going to expand on it. I'm confident. Yep, we got a bye week at a perfect time. Going to be healthy. And I'm not disrespecting Kentucky. This Tennessee team's a little better than people think. And Kentucky is not, I think especially, Kentucky's got a good defense. They've got a good defense, but have they seen an offense like Tennessee? I don't think they have. And if Tennessee can get rolling, coming out with what I really believe will be the first time they've had their line healthy since Bowling Green, fully healthy, running backs healthy, wide receivers healthy, everyone. Kentucky can't keep up with them if Tennessee's offense gets rolling.
Yeah, hoping for 4-0. I mean, I think that should be everybody's answer. I think 3-1 is definitely realistic. That Georgia game is going to be tough. But Kentucky is a very winnable game. At the beginning of the year, we threw that out as a, kind of a toss-up game, and Kentucky's had a pretty good season up to this point. I think they've overachieved a bit. Like Indy Kid said, that they do have a pretty stout defense. And I think they've caught some teams at the right time as well. But it's always tough to go on the road in the SEC. Regardless of who you're playing, I think week in and week out, it is the best conference in college football. It is officiated by the worst officials in college football. But would I be surprised if they go 2-2? Yes, honestly, I think I'd be surprised if they go 2-2.
Do you think 2-2 though? They go 2-2. We're right where we expected to be. Whereas if they get that Kentucky game, I feel like it's just a little icing on the cake.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially with the way Kentucky's been playing, it is going to be a tough game. If they get it, that's fantastic. That's probably the ceiling where a lot of people had us. I think we all said 500 is that's a successful season. Get you bowl eligible, get you that extra practice. Man. No, Jonathan Tulloch, I didn't throw the golf ball. If I did, it would have hit him.
I wonder if you played it like you was fielding one at third and come up humming one.
Much better opportunity than if he hit his pitching wedge. Let's just say that.
Now I'll throw this in too. That something I think Tennessee. It just so happened every time Kentucky has that year of one of their better teams in years, Tennessee knocks their asses off.
It's so weird.
It's happening again this year.
It's a weird rivalry. It is a weird rivalry. When Kentucky has the advantage, it seems like Tennessee dominates them. And then when Tennessee has the advantage, it seems like it's usually a close game. But Tennessee comes out on top. It's what it is. It's Kentucky. You're expected to be Kentucky. It's an interesting matchup, though, man. That Kentucky defense is good. They're giving up less than 20 points a game. They run the football well, but they're good against the rush. Tennessee kind of, same thing. They're good against the rush on defense. I want to see, Indy Kid, you kind of said it earlier, I want to see this Tennessee offensive line healthy. We have not seen it all year long. And does Cooper Mays, does this extra week, does he kind of progress even more than he was? Cade Mays, they could not run the football against Alabama at all. How much is that Cade Mays? How much is it just that Alabama defensive line? But you got to have Cade Mays back. Cooper Mays gets a little bit more healthy. The running backs too, man. This team is beat up. They are banged up. They have been for a couple of weeks now. And, I saw some people saying, bye week coming at the right time. No, they needed this bye week the week before Ole Miss, really. It's a little overdue. So hopefully they get healthy this week. And I want to see a full strength offensive line against that Kentucky team.
Yeah, I mean, they've had so many nicks and bumps and injuries. It's they've played 8 games. They played 2/3 of their schedule. Normally, ideally, you'd rather that bye week be right in the middle. It's not. But it could prove well. Going into Kentucky, finish 7-5, and like I've predicted for a week now, and CBS Sports was listening to me, Tennessee, Clemson, Duke's Mayo Bowl, Tennessee throttles Clemson in Charlotte.
I'm gonna just continue to have fun with this just because I can, and we can say and do whatever we want. But right now, combined VolQuest and the Swain event together have about 130 viewers right here on the Talkin VAWLS network, going head to head. Tuesday Night Wars. We got 148 people watching live. We continue to take it to them right here on the Tuesday Night Wars because of you, the listeners. So hit that thumbs up. Share it out. Let somebody know Talkin VAWLS is live. And we will continue to take over YouTube because this is our platform for the fans, by the fans. We're not experts. We're not media. We're not journalists. We are just like you guys. That's why you want to be here with us, hanging with your buddies on the back deck, drinking a beer. So we appreciate it. I make jokes and I laugh, but it is humbling that a former player in the premier coverage of Tennessee football are not pulling the same numbers that we are pulling on YouTube. I'm sorry. It is what it is. I am very happy right now. Fallout Zone G says, let's go. That's right. Let's go. Let's stick it to him. Let's show him who is the king of Tennessee media, although we're not media. Jake for 5. Thank you for the super chat. Is Kentucky's defense good though? Who have they played? A good Georgia team and a shaky Florida team. Well, let me pull up their schedule here real quick. I think their defense is good. You guys, I don't think that's.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's not Georgia good, but
no, but it's good.
Kentucky's D stout. It's good. Yeah. I mean, make no bones about it. I mean, me saying I mean, part of that's nostalgia. I'm more used to Tennessee beating Kentucky. I just think that if Kentucky had, I mean, their offense lit LSU up pretty well, but I don't know. And Tennessee could lose that game. They absolutely could lose that game. I'm not saying they can. I just think this hits at a perfect time for UT to get everybody healthy. We have not seen that. That's going to be big because I think we don't really know what Tennessee is. The only time we've seen them healthy, they had a quarterback who couldn't hit the wall if he threw at it behind center.
I have to address this. Dakota, if you can't tell my sarcasm, you ain't been around me long enough, buddy. It's not a big head. It is a complete sarcasm. But we do appreciate you guys hanging out with us. When you look at similar opponents, and Louisiana Monroe scored 10. That's why I'm driving over to Boone so I can scout out Louisiana Monroe, see what that offense looks like. So I have a better idea going into that Kentucky game. Missouri scored 28 on Kentucky. What'd they score on Tennessee? 24. That's a similar opponent. South Carolina scored 10 against Kentucky, scored 20 against Tennessee. But, it's hard to make those comparisons. When you look at how fast Tennessee goes, that kind of throws off your defensive numbers.
Yeah. It really does. I mean, like you said, the comparisons are there. Tennessee's offense is much, much better, much quicker. Does Kentucky go the Ole Miss route and flop, or do they take it like men and see if they can stop them, or kind of best man win?
Dauber, if you got anything to add, or you want me to drop over here and grab another question?
You got people talking about the Florida loss to Kentucky. Tennessee in the Florida game, their offense wasn't clicking. I think this offense has kind of hit their stride, and Hooker at quarterback has helped a lot with that. They're gelling together, and the things that you could see, the schemes that were working, but we were missing on those plays, those are plays that they're hitting on now. How many deep balls, how many wide open guys are catching the ball now? The first 3-4 games, those plays weren't happening, and I think a lot of it has to do with quarterback play. We've seen how poor quarterback play can hinder a team that is chock full of talent. If you look back the last couple of years, and I think had things continued with Milton, it would have been like Groundhog Day with this team. We would have had flashes of potential, but never really achieved anything. Whereas now things are really clicking. Even though it was Missouri and South Carolina, you talk about the amount of points they scored back-to-back weeks against SEC opponents, all the offensive categories that, putting up numbers that are just monstrous compared to seasons past. This is a completely different style of Tennessee football. And I'll tell you what, it's exciting. And that's something that even if wins and losses, if they end up 500, that's why I think people have to give Heupel time, because this is exciting football. It's a change. It's different. It's a lot better than grinding out first downs. I tell you that.
Yeah, that's why I like the way that the schedule sets up next year, because people are impatient. They're impatient. And, they sit here preseason and make their predictions saying 3 wins, 4 wins, and now Tennessee is staring 6, maybe 7 right in the face. And now all of a sudden that's not good enough. People just aren't, they're not patient. So I like the way the schedule sets up next year. Give Heupel another year. But look, he needs more time. He is going to need more time to get to the next step. And I think we finally have a coach that can do that. Here's another good question from Chuck Hickey. He says, I still want to know more about Kamal Haddon. He says, I think he was a transfer, but he played real well, mostly in the run game. had some difficulties in coverage, but was pretty solid. Never heard about him previously. While it is too bad that we are having to play deep into our shallow team, it is great that some of these guys are getting quality reps. And the reason I like that question, because I already had Kamal Hadden in my notes to talk about from the Alabama game, because most of his playing time has been in special teams. But this week, Warren Burrell is out sick. I don't know if it was COVID. I don't know what the deal is. He was out sick is all we heard. And Kamal Hadden gets the start, which I thought was interesting because we saw Turnage absolutely dominate at the star position. And we're talking about, can he get time maybe at corner, or, do you play him at star and move Theo to safety? And safeties struggled against Alabama. They have struggled most of the year. McCullough has a few picks. I get it, but he's struggled overall. It is what it is. So I was really kind of surprised to see Kamal Hadden get the start. I thought maybe, when I saw Warren Burrell was out, maybe they give Turnage some run at corner, but it just didn't happen. But then, going with Chuck's comment here, Kamal Hadden graded out the highest of every defensive player on Saturday, according to Pro Football Focus. Now, take it for what it's worth. It is what it is. But he forced the fumble, gave Tennessee a chance there. I thought he played a good football game. He didn't really get torched too bad. I thought he played well, but he was brought in via the transfer portal. What are your thoughts on Kamal Hadden and just the whole situation with the secondary, the poor safety play, Brandon Turnage, everything that I just kind of brought up there?
Hadden played a good bit against Ole Miss also. I'm not sure who he was in for, but I started noticing in the Ole Miss game, people are asking what grade he is. I'm pretty sure he has 3 years left.
Yeah, I think
he was,
so.
Because he was JUCO. I guess he signed with Auburn and enrolled, and then he left and came to Tennessee. So if I'm not mistaken, he has 3 years left.
I will say Tennessee looked into him when Prunty went to South Carolina.
Yeah.
They looked into Kamal Hadden.
Well, and Turnage too.
Yeah.
Turnage happened right after Prunty as well. But
yeah, I may have mixed those up. You're right.
But still, Theo Jackson got hurt and Turnage was in a little bit more. But, yeah, we've talked about safety play, man. They were rough the other night. Safety and linebackers, I think they graded out pretty low. And I thought that I don't know. I thought the safeties were improving, but the last 2 weeks, I don't know. They kind of not been, like you said, McCullough's had interceptions, but I really think they could upgrade those positions. I really do. I don't think those guys are awful by any means, but that's it kind of goes hand in hand with what I said about with the portal and the linebackers. If you could get an alpha to upgrade, you go for it. Same thing with safety. I mean, I think Christian Charles has been hurt. I think he was starting to push.
Yeah,
he's been hurt. I'm really kind of surprised we've not seen McDonald because we heard a lot of good things about him. But safety play's got to be better. I still wonder if Theo Jackson, he's been beat up too. So that's going to help him having a week off.
I'm more surprised that they've not moved Theo Jackson to safety, especially after you saw the success that Turnage had at star. Good gosh, led the team in tackles. Well, I think he was the SEC Defensive Player of the Week.
He was.
Yeah. So why would you not?
What's the lesser two evils? You have Theo Jackson at star and your safeties continue to struggle in coverage, or do you move Theo back? But does he drop off? If he goes to safety? I mean, because he's, this is easily the best year he's had so far at Tennessee. So I don't know. Playing devil's advocate, you move him back. Does he fall off? So I don't really know the answer to that. I think it's just the case of that position. They're just going to have to get better moving forward. And I still think Christian Charles and McDonald will be a big part of that. Maybe even as early as next year. Charles can stay healthy. I mean, he got to start one game. Of course, Flowers was out, but still yet, I think he could push.
I was waiting on Dauber to talk.
I mean, Indy Kid about covered everything there. Going into the season, I think we thought the secondary was going to be a real strength, and if there is a group that has underperformed, I think it would be the secondary. The defensive line was questions, and they've really played well. Linebacker is, I think we said that was iffy, and that's about like they've played. We've seen Banks. He's played well. I think he's improved from last year, but there is still there's a soft spot in the middle of the defense, and that's kind of a combination of your linebackers and your safety, leaving that part open. We've had some guys lost in coverage too, especially on the back end. But Indy Kid has pushed, or said there ought to be guys pushing on the edge, and move some guys around. You need to get your best guys out there. And why would you have a kid ball out, SEC Player of the Week, and then play him on special teams, and that's it?
Go ahead.
I was gonna say it is kind of questionable, but I don't think I would question anything that Tim Banks is doing right now because this defense is playing so well. They're keeping you in ball games right now, but they're on the field an awful lot, and that's where the depth issue comes into play.
I think with the secondary, I'm more disappointed with the safeties. I mentioned Alante Taylor. He's been pretty good this year. He got, I think, Ole Miss, they kind of juked him and got a touchdown on him. But overall, I feel he's played some pretty good ball. I feel the corners have been okay. I say okay. They've been really good at times. They've been good. Safeties, the safeties haven't been awful. But I don't know. I feel like they could be better. I don't know if it's speed. I don't know if it's lack of coverage. I'm not sure what it is. But, yeah, like I always say, I would like to see some guys start pushing. I'd like to see some guys start pushing these guys to get better. One of two things happen. They either get better or they get replaced. That's what I would like to see. And again, I'm kind of – my first thought is, well, let's move Theo Jackson back and put Turnage in at star. But, I mean, we've seen Theo Jackson back there before. He's had the same issues the other two guys have at safety.
And you have to realize the star position is the dominant position in the defense. That's the guy that 99% of the time is going to lead the team in tackles. It's why we saw Turnage come in and dominate. Like, I'm not taking anything away from the kid, but that's the position that is going to make the most tackles week in and week out on this football team. So, like you said, Indy Kid, if you move Theo Jackson back to safety, is there going to be a big drop off there where there's really not a difference? And again, like Dauber said, it's not like we're sitting here questioning Tim Banks. We're just throwing stuff out there, like,
oh yeah,
possibilities. It's not like Tim Banks is sitting in his office and has no clue what's going on. He's done more with less. And, even talking about the linebackers, like, I'm excited to see what, Aaron Beasley looks like next year, man. Give that kid another year of development. He had all the off-field issues and, suspended during the spring. Let's let this kid have a full year. I'm surprised he has come along as far as he has, honestly. And yes, you saw him, he struggled against Alabama. I'll be the first to admit that. But he's come a long way, man. Like, he's a kid that I thought he was just going to add depth, but right out of the gate, Tim Banks rolling him and Page both out there and giving them an opportunity behind Mitchell and Jeremy Banks. And I think the kid has some potential.
Well, think about how much Beasley's moved around during his career. He was a safety. He was a running back. He was a linebacker. So, he's finally settling into a position as well. Yeah, I'm with you. I think next year you'll see a lot of improvement from him. And I was kind of the same way. I thought seeing Beasley and Page was just kind of fluff. I thought really We may see Aaron Willis and Juwan Mitchell, but man, I don't even know that Aaron Willis has played, or it's been sparingly if he has. So,
and I expected him to be better than Beasley, honestly.
Well, I think part of what hurt him was that crew got in trouble in the spring.
Right. Yep.
I mean, their linebacking depth and core took a hit because you had French, who got booted, and then Aaron Willis, who he'd had that spring practice. I would imagine he would be further along.
But same with Beasley. I mean, how much time did he miss over that stuff?
That's right.
So
that is right.
Yeah, Wayne, Page did look lost against Bama, and so did Beasley. Beasley did too. But
and so did Banks.
I think these guys, I don't know, man. It's Alabama. Yeah.
Linebackers have had 2 tough weeks in a row, but they're just not. I don't think Kentucky's got the mobile quarterback. Maybe he can, create a little bit, but that's a big advantage for Tennessee if it's a team, and we've seen it. If their quarterback can't make moves with his legs, then Tennessee can light into them.
Nate Turner with a good comment there. B. Wild lived in the backfield against Bama, and he got held all night long too.
That's exactly what I was going to say. He was held almost every play.
All night long, and he still lived in their backfield. He's a special kid. He is a special kid. Let me move over to another Facebook question as I drop my phone out of my hand. Landon Baldwin question: what position do y'all think we need to hit the hardest in the transfer portal / recruiting this upcoming season? And this just kind of goes hand in hand with what we've talked about all night: expectations, recruiting. What can Josh Heupel do next year? It's going to have to be the transfer portal. So Dauber, what position do you think they need to hit the hardest going into the 2022?
Defensive line. Because I think Indy Kid said it earlier. Most of those guys are going to be gone after this year. You've got some guys that will rotate in, but this is big boy football. If you're not replacing linemen on both sides of the ball, if you've not got guys that you can rotate in and out, guys that you can shift around if somebody gets hurt, you're in a world of hurt. We're seeing that right now with this gauntlet of the schedule that we're in. 4 games against ranked teams, and you've got Mays banged up. You've got all these guys just kind of shifting around. You got a former walk-on getting heavy snaps on the offensive line. But I think defensive line is probably the bigger, in my opinion, bigger priority.
What about you, Indy Kid? What do you think?
I agree on defense line, but I would go O-line over D-line.
Really?
But they need, I think, and I agree with you. They need defensive line help too. I guess what I'm kind of looking at is we're seeing some young guys come along on the defensive line,
right?
Which I think is a positive. I mean, you look, man, with the Mays brothers out, what's been behind them? I mean, it just seems there's no depth there.
The lack of running game when they are out. Yeah, that does speak volumes.
It's a tough one, really, between the two, because I feel both of them. I mean, you could honestly say you could put a split on it about it. Both lines need help. And, man, I mean, looking at what's coming back on the defensive line, you got Barron, you got Omari Thomas, who's making progress, Simmons. That was one of the reasons I was not happy when Greg Emerson left. He was a younger guy, had some time left, did some good things under the previous staff, and then it just didn't mesh. Both lines need a lot of help. Now I will say this. I really like what they have committed on the offensive line. I think they've got a nice offensive line class going. You said it earlier, though, Dauber. I mean, you really don't want to rely on guys to come in and contribute as freshmen, much less offensive linemen.
Right.
They're just not physically ready. But if I get 2 to 3 guys, man, I would target 2 to 3 to 4 on both sides. I really would.
I'm going to go outside the box because you guys are stating kind of the obvious. I do like the defensive line a little bit more than the offensive line. I think that Dejon Terry is a guy that has give him another year under Rodney Garner. He's a guy that could possibly make an impact. You got Tyler Barron, BY. I like those guys at the end. So I'm going to go outside the box. Number one, I think quarterback. I think Harrison Bailey's gone. I think Joe Milton's gone. You're going to have another quarterback somewhere in the mix because I think Hendon Hooker comes back. It's going to be his job. You got the freshman Taven Jackson coming in. Give him a year to develop. You got to have somebody in the middle there. So I think they need to go to the portal, get at least a quarterback, but then also wide receiver, man, wide receiver, because Bayless Jones gone, Javonte Payton gone. Yeah, you're going to have Tillman back. I was reading on the Monday Night Chat on VolQuest talking about Jimmy Holiday, Jimmy Callaway. Do you think one of those guys transfers? And it's a very, 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 very possible. I think Jalen Hyatt's going to be back, but I think you've got to go get, we kind of touched on it earlier. I think you got to go get a Javonte Payton type guy in the portal. I do. And the problem is all of these are concerns. To Dauber's point, we need some help on the defensive line. Indy Kid, we all see it. You got to have help on the offensive line. You got to fill needs at the quarterback. What are you going to do at wide receiver? It's college football in 2021 with the transfer portal. It is what it is. It's going to be interesting to see who checks out at the end of the year because there are going to be guys that transfer out of Tennessee that Josh Heupel is going to have to go and replace on top of having what we're all expecting to be a very mediocre class of 22.
At quarterback, too, I mean, you mentioned Taven Jackson. From what I read, he's got the tools, but he needs some development. So, I mean, who's to say after a year he's ready?
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah. I mean, I mentioned the obvious is Rattler. That's who's mentioned, but I mean, I don't know about him either. I'm not really saying. That's who everybody assumes will be there. I don't know.
It's
There's
so
other
dumb.
guys that.
But I watched his Netflix show that he was on. I don't know if you guys watched it, where it's all the top quarterbacks in the country. The dude lost me at that point. He doesn't have it between the ears. Sorry, Andy Kid. Go ahead.
No, I'm not actually saying that's who they need to get. That's the obvious. But, I say it numerous times. I would be looking at Clemson right now, who's leaving Clemson, because they're having guys leave.
LSU.
Things are not going well.
LSU, 100%.
LSU. Who's leaving LSU? What other coaching changes will there be out there? It's possible James Franklin's hitting the road at Penn State this year. Penn State's got some talent. Who leaves there?
Who takes that LSU job? That's another team that's going to have some, turnover.
I mean, USC, what happens there? Who knows who could leave out there? I mean, it's just sometimes you get a guy who comes into a program and it's a conflict of personalities and guys hit the road. So,
well, it's guys that don't fit systems. Number 2 or number 3 wide receivers that think they're a number 1.
Yep.
It's all that type of thing. That's what this whole transfer portal era has brought about, and especially the one-time transfer rule that gives all these guys, hey, it's not working out here, so let's go somewhere else. And
that's the thing about Milton. I mean, he's had his one time. He's gonna be left with 1 year if he transfers somewhere.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and it makes you wonder, is he going to stick around and see if he can develop? But you got to think he realizes he ain't going to beat out Hendon Hooker at this point. So is he content?
Well, he wouldn't beat out anybody if it were me, but not after Ole Miss. But
no, but good Lord, halftime at Pitt, I was tough.
Yeah,
and I was the biggest Joe Milton supporter there was. But you just have to wonder, where's his head at? Is he content to just finish out his college career, get his degree, and never have that opportunity? or is he going to transfer and sit a year? That's the thing, man. This transfer portal, yeah, it's all fun and games when you transfer from Michigan to Tennessee, but then when things don't work out and you're going to transfer again, you're going to have to sit a year. It's the reality of the situation.
Well, I think too, something that's going to help also, seeing what this offense is doing, seeing what Hendon Hooker's doing. I mean, quarterbacks are going to take notice of that.
Receivers
maybe having yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, you have a subpar year, or you feel it can be better than. I mean, Hooker was okay at Virginia Tech, but I know Virginia Tech's now probably wishing they had him, because they're going to get to experience what we've experienced here at the end of the year.
I
have no sympathy for him. But
I don't want to say this to take away from Hendon Hooker, but how much is it just Josh Heupel's system? Yeah. Josh Heupel's system has elevated Hendon Hooker.
It just fits. I mean, we've said it.
Like, he fits the system.
We've made the comparison before. Dauber mentioned it earlier. The Bruce Pearl taking over Buzz Peterson off it. That's the best comparison I can think of, because when he took it over, people's like, oh my gosh, this program doesn't have talent. That talent meshed perfectly with Bruce Pearl's system, and it's a case. Obviously, football is much bigger. It takes more, but that talent that was left on the offensive side of the ball, it's funny how it worked out with them. If you had more depth and a stronger offensive line, I mean, look what this team's doing with that line they have now. If it were high caliber SEC, oh my gosh, man.
Well, if the starting offensive line was healthy,
yeah.
I mean, I think that's a difference right there.
But that's why depth is so important, because you're never.
And that's why it's going to be important next week, because that will be the first time that line has been a fully feel that it will be totally healthy next week.
We're gonna wrap things up here as we get ready to. Everybody's gonna go watch the World Series. That's why we went live an hour early. Again, just a reminder: schedule's going to be a little off the next week or so. Make sure you're tuned into our social media accounts. Make sure you are subscribed and you've got that bell clicked for notifications. I always try to post the streams a few hours ahead of time, so you guys know the time changes there. Also, Dauber, Indy Kid, you guys are going live what, Thursday night?
Thursday night, 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock. It's going to be the basketball preview show, so tune in for that. Check that out. Indy Kid's been dropping videos all week long covering basketball. Also, there will be a basketball video dropping tomorrow morning, so make sure you check that out. But like I said, just make sure you're subscribed. Click that bell. You won't miss out if we do make changes. We try to balance things out. Some of you guys were talking earlier. I want to talk football, not basketball. We always try to do a football show, a basketball show, a baseball show. We try to separate everything. So if you like basketball, check that out. Also, go check out the official merchandise of the Talkin VAWLS Network. Go to bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. You can see all the different types of designs, the retro VAWLS shirt. Click on the style, and then you can choose your color option. But any and all support is greatly appreciated. It looks like we did finally bail out and lose the Tuesday Night War. It looks like VolQuest and Swain Event, they have to combine. It takes two. It takes two to beat us. It's okay. It's okay. It takes two YouTube channels to pour more views. But we're going to take them down. We need your help. We're on that race to 10,000 subscribers, so any and all help is appreciated. If you're not subscribed, get subscribed. If you have friends that are fans of Tennessee, tell them about Talkin VAWLS. Let them know. Pick up the merchandise. Rep that merchandise. We rely on you guys. It is for the fans, by the fans. We need you guys to help share the word and grow this thing. I want to beat, I'll be honest, it's a personal goal. I want to beat VolQuest to 10,000 subscribers. We're about 250 subscribers behind them right now. Let's race them. Let's beat them to 10,000. But that's going to wrap it up for this one. Thank you guys for hanging out on this bye week. Again, reminder, Thursday night, 9 o'clock, basketball coverage. Next week, we'll let you guys know. It'll either be late Tuesday night or Wednesday night at 7. It'll be one or the other, depending on Indy Kids football team. But we'll let you guys know. And then also post-game show next week after the Kentucky game. I think it's 7 o'clock kickoff, so we'll probably go ahead and do a tailgate show, I'm assuming, right?
Well, we've lost that one. We've lost every tailgate show, so
let's not do it.
Throw it. No.
Let's not. No, we've lost every tailgate. Piss on it. Throw it out the window. We'll get rid of it. We'll do a fan call-in show next week, midweek. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna change things up for the power team. We're gonna fix this thing. No tailgate show. We're gonna do a fan call-in show either late Tuesday night or Wednesday at 7. We'll let you guys know that's gonna be the fan call-in show. No tailgate show. We're gonna get things fixed. If they beat Kentucky, tailgate shows are canceled from here on out. Done. All right, that's going to wrap it up for this one. He's Dauber. He's the Indie Kid. My name is Boogie Bentley. Go
Braves.
Big Orange.
Go Braves.
And go Braves.
How like me, poets sat in arching, soaking moonlit falls, unbroken past this inundated orb that we call home, and it's night and I'm alone and